So, oh, ooh, yeah.
Oh,
The
boy.
music is so fucking vibey. I love the music. It makes me want to drive.
You know what? It really, I will
Makes
say
me
this.
want to finger my hiney.
Oh, I was going to say something, but I see I was going to block something far more important. So, welcome to the Black Sour Podcast.
Woohoo! It's time to get your taint.
Oh, wait, we're in the wrong order. There you go. I'm supposed to be on
Line
the
up.
bottom right now.
Yeah.
Yo, it's already been that kind of fucking day.
You lobbed it up there, dude. You laid that out. You laid that right out. You're like, I'm gonna
Right.
finger my hiney.
It's
Now I'm
been
gonna
so
be on the
long.
bottom.
Look at how much my ice has already melted.
Damn, sir.
That's how long we've been troubleshooting. Well, that's how long we've been troubleshooting a tech issue.
Ooh, did you guys hear that? Here, I'm gonna do this.
Oh,
That's what it sounds like when you finish finger popping your butthole.
Boop, 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 boop.
in fact, do that again.
Are you trying to get
Well,
me
if
drunk?
you insist.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we discuss, as we continue to do, the Wheel of
Let's
Time.
intro first. Hello, everyone. Again, we're the Black Tower Podcast. I don't know what our thing with being late starting here recently has been. Yeah, 593. But like, I think the last several episodes we have been horrendously late starting. Like,
It's
and if you want to see some of why, you should be a patron so that you can listen to the pre-recordings.
Yeah,
You can
I do
find out
not
why.
take full credit. It's a group project.
we blame Reese 70%.
She's the overachiever of the group.
Yeah, because we can, but if anybody else does, then you're just intolerant and a misogynist. So
It's true.
We have the pass. We have the pass. It's hanging up on the wall, framed right over
Not
there.
a misogynist.
just
I have
off
female
camera.
friends.
I have a female co-host. Anyway, I'm Andrew. I'm your Bajan male.
We're just leaning into the cancellation thing.
This is our last episode ever. Anyway, this is the one that's going to get us fucking canceled.
Well, you know.
So, and I'm going to try this Old Smoky cookies and cream, which is actually a cream made with whiskey. I kind of was hoping it was just going to be flavored whiskey, but
Whiskey cream.
we're going to try that by itself. And then
All
I'm
right.
going to see how cookies and cream taste with one of Josh's favorites, the ball of screw.
I do love some screwball.
And then if all else fails, I have Dr. Pepper. And then if all else really fails, because I'm not going to keep drinking fucking cream because it feels like I'm drinking coffee creamer, I have Doers that I can just mix with Dr. Pepper. Anyway, enough about me.
Yeah, enough about you. Bloop, 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 bloop. And I am Josh. I'm the Soravan Mahale. And this week I'll be enjoying the Briny Gold
The
Shipwreck
sort of late Mahale.
rum. And this rum is aged to perfection. Shipwreck spiced rum is masterfully blended to match the old rums enjoyed on the high seas long ago. So if I start talking like a Terraboner, you know why.
If you get the big
If I
Barney.
get- If I stand up and I want it with a Terraboner, you'll have to excuse me. There's just something that looks wrong about ice cubes in like a cream liqueur.
Yeah.
Dang, do you guys have like matching glasses?
Yeah, we do.
No.
This was a Christmas gift because Josh loves me.
It's true.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get this back out. Excuse me.
Wait, what? Oh. Every time I think it's about to go flying out of your hand, you show an impressive amount of control.
An impressive amount of dexterity there.
It gets right to the edge. It's about to slip out, and then it goes right back in all the other way.
I know.
Impressive.
I know how to.
Impressive.
I can't say it. I can't say it.
Someone is very, very lucky.
Reese,
Someone
who
is
the
very
hell are
lucky.
you?
I'm Reese Sedai. You're Athon Mahale. You're especially this episode. You're no glove, no love, Mahale. And we got the love the last 2 episodes. Gloves are off. This episode, no love.
You see me wearing a glove, brother? That's right. There's no love here. We do our intros.
This ring is where you come to
wrestling.
die.
I'm telling you.
Well, my fellow Mahales, cheers to our last ever episode as we prepare to get canceled. Cheers and with cream. That is good. That does taste like cookies and cream. It's like someone melted cookies and cream ice cream and took out all the like cookie chunks.
That tastes like sweet fire.
I had Jameson, so that was delicious.
I'm about to screw my balls. I mean, put screwball in it.
All right.
Watch this fucking curdle now, and it's going to be like a texture fucking nightmare.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't let it curdle.
I'm doing it anyway.
Boop, 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 boop. I do love the boop, boop, boop. It's a great sound.
Well, I figured peanut butter and cookies and cream can't be that bad, because peanut butter and chocolate's good. Peanut butter and vanilla's good.
You're not wrong.
You ever taken like just plain like
that.
vanilla bean ice cream and like mixed regular creamy peanut butter in it rather than just getting like peanut butter ice cream? So much better and it's so good. I cannot read. He said, good thing I already pulled out my Black Tower stock, and I thought it said pulled out my Black Tower cock.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing. I was like, dude, what are you? Oh, stock.
I stopped halfway through the sentence.
I already pulled out my.
Nope.
I was like, nah, don't do that.
Nope. All right. How is it?
Oh, that is dangerously good.
Oh, okay.
That's actually really good.
All right.
Oh.
Which we
weird
cannot
aftertaste.
say about the Wheel of Time show this episode.
That's right.
Guys, this is what we're talking about. Only the bad.
Okay. Before we jump into this,
I've put us all in grayscale, so it's easier for you to slap the canceled banner across our faces.
That's right.
So, look at that.
So before we get too far into this, though, some ground rules, right? No, like pointless like criticisms, right? We're not gonna make stupid criticisms like
People's faces that make us want to punch.
I hate that guy because he's the wrong color, or I hate it that they made too many women in the show, or like stop, like just that's not what we're doing here. When we bring up things that we thought were bad about the show, we're going to discuss them.
Ground rules, as if any of us four or three have had those thoughts.
Well, this is just so that people can play the clip later and be like, so you said that you weren't going to do this, and then you did. But we want to talk about criticisms, things that we didn't think worked, things that we thought were just poorly done. We're going to agree on some, we're going to disagree on some. I can already tell you I disagreed with a couple of them because they were in our last couple of episodes where we did a 2-parter on things we loved about season 3. Okay. We're not going to line up and just shit on the show. We're not going to do that. That's not the kind of channel we are. It's not the kind of people we are.
Well, I mean, we are in this episode.
Yeah, we're going to make an exception in this episode.
Well, but
we're not gonna just shit on the show because like we have some weird like headcanon that we can't look past, or some kind of like we're going to say what we don't like and we're going to explain why, and it's not gonna be, I don't know, some lunatic style Twitter rant about how old the Two Rivers and Amon's Field is and why it should be racially homogenous. Some crazy bullshit like that about a fantasy story.
We're not going to be book cloaks, even though all of us are Wheel of Time originalists from the
80s. That line, I say that at least twice a week.
That's why I'm wearing this shirt. I'm going to try to channel some of my inner Tom from Twatcast, because this is, of course,
from
a
Twatcast
shirt.
Nice.
We know how much Tom from Twatcast adores every last second of the TV show.
Oh, he loves it on principle.
But
all right, let's do this.
Let's try to do some of like. Do we just want to jump around, or do we want to try to like go episode by episode a little bit like we did?
Let's go episode by episode, because I feel like if we don't it's gonna feel just like we're shitting all over everything, and there's no rhyme to the reason. So let's go episode by episode.
So
Let's
here's
do
what
this.
we'll do. I'll do a quick summary of each episode.
Yeah.
And when I say quick summary, like I'm not gonna even read like the full summary like we did last time. Like I'm gonna do like bullet points from it just so everybody knows generically where the episode started. So that's season 2. Helps if I'm on the right season. Season
true.
3, episode 1, To Erase the Shadow. So this is 1 month after the battle in Falma. Leandrin gets summoned before the Hall of the White Tower, where Suan confronts her about being a dark friend. Leandrin counters and says that Suan has violated Tower law. Nynaeve shows back up. Battle ensues, and of course, Leandrin escapes with a bunch of other Black Aja sisters. There's a bit of a battle in the streets. That's the cold open. Moves forward to them talking about Rand expecting to go to Tyr to claim Kalendor, and him being like, I'm not going to do that.
JK, suckers.
Egwene does her whole little speech back and forth with Suan about going and taking the accepted test, and takes it, and then says, okay, I did your test. I got my ring. Goodbye. I never said I would stay. Which
was some Aes Sedai verbiage after the Tower's own heart, to be honest.
A gray man almost kills Nynaeve. Matt makes a joke about the White Tower looking like a massive dingus, and I mean penis. And then they all split ways, following how season 2 ended with them saying how much they have to stick together. So immediately, the first thing in season 3, we have to separate. And then Moghedien turns a captive White Cloak into another gray man. So that's a very brief, very generic synopsis on episode 1. So what you got, Josh?
Oh, okay, look. The fight. Okay, I loved the fight. I did. It looked cool. I saw Wolfie's in the chat, by the way. Ooh. I loved the visuals. It was great. I saw a TikTok video where this dude was talking about, if you haven't watched Wheel of Time, you absolutely should, because season 3 opens with these like 40 to 50-year-old women just beating the shit out of each other. And it's great. It is. Visually, it's great. The thing I did not like about it, there's two specific things about this that I did not like. One, the second the Black Aja sisters started using kill shots against the Aes Sedai, the Aes Sedai's lives were now in danger, and they should have been using kill shots back. But they weren't. They were, I don't know. It just, every single Black Aja sister walked out of that room. And there's no reason for that. Like, why? They were outnumbered 2-1. How did they walk out of that room unscathed?
No. I feel like they gave them the exception of like shock for that. But even still, it's like.
And so, you got this situation where that happens, and you're like, okay, cool.
I guess whatever. He couldn't hear. He couldn't hear for a second, I guess.
I could not hear for a second.
Oh, okay. That would explain. I was like Reese was talking, and like,
oh, sorry.
You came in like the literal like split second she stopped.
Oh, sorry. No, I couldn't hear you.
It's perfectly timed. No, I was just saying like the only like free pass I gave on that was like shock, just like pure and utter like, what is happening? But still, just like
we're doing all the bad stuff.
Nobody,
all the stuff
like,
we didn't like.
The greens were there.
Yeah. Like,
see, like, my thing is like, so when the fight starts and the other members of the Black Aja, or even Leandrin, they go to fling their first attacks at Suan. Alana and Leanne both step in with an astounding amount of defensive capabilities.
Yes.
That nobody can break through. And then somewhere towards the middle of this, whenever all they should be focused on is keeping Suan safe and defended so that she can finish off Leandrin. They, don't do that, and she catches a fucking rock to the side, and so Leandrin gets... Not to mention, of course, there's the trope of, hey, I know I'm a good person, and you're guilty, and you should be executed right now, but I'm going to, like, do this weird good guy torture thing to you first, because good people can't kill you quickly unless... Well, just ever. Like it's got
Well,
to be some weird, long, drawn out thing. Like it's the weirdest fucking thing. Because I know, Josh, you and I talked about this when this happened. That she's like slowly like burning and strangling, squeezing like Leandrin to death, and it's like Leandrin at the point that Suan starts doing everything to take her down
yeah.
is shielded. And I get like initially she's like, okay, I'm going to just make her confess everything. But at the point where you see at least half of the sisters in the hall
There it is.
turn out to be the bad guys, you probably gotta go, okay, we gotta switch from intel gathering to fucking survival.
Defense,
Because if half
right?
of the fucking sitters are Black Aja, what does that mean about the whole tower? How dangerous is this? They're not bound by the oaths. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
And like, I know I'm
Fucking
getting ahead, but like, especially given episode 8. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Come on.
I mean, it was that easy all along.
Yeah. So I give a small pass for the shock factor, because it is shock. But the fact that not a single one of them died on their way out, like, okay. But then they double down on this, and it's the weirdest sort of battle choreography transition that I think I've ever seen. Like, and I've seen some cheesy shit. Alana and her 2 warders head off all of the Black Aja sisters. And Alana does a Palpatine, right? Where she does like the woo 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 and spin and flip and stuff like that. And again, I'm like, cool, 1 power, assisted and, amplified. Everything's great. Everything's awesome. This is awesome. Everything's good. We've got warders in the mix dancing and boom. And immediately they're like, quack, quack, quack. We just killed 3 people. And it's like, what?
It makes the power level from the cold open completely irrelevant. You're like,
exactly.
It makes no sense.
These people
again, just like Alana and them defending Suan makes no sense in regards to the rest of the fight.
Yeah, an entire room full of the most powerful channelers could not take on this group of Black Aja. But now one by herself, who was in the last scene, by the way.
The room, exactly.
is now able to take them on with her 2 warders, which were outside the room, and somehow escaped the carnage. Everyone else was dead, and these 2 walked out unscathed. What happened in that hallway?
Right?
Come on now.
Where were they hiding?
And then all of a sudden are able to just what happened in the
See, she narrowly avoided death, so she got the Saiyan near death power boost.
There it is.
So she pulled the old Vegeta. I wanna be a Super Saiyan. I wanna. But yeah, no, it makes no fucking sense. Still not the most annoying thing I think from episode 1, but still, like it makes the power scaling and the difficulty and magnitude of the power battles fucking make no sense. Like it's like Dragon Ball Z did this at a point, and like Abridged made fun of it. Like I think it was like the Cell Saga, where like eventually Vegeta goes like, power levels are bullshit, and it's like, yeah, there comes a point where like the power levels are bullshit, and I know it's an argument that's kind of frequently used for the Wheel of Time, or the world of the big white book of bad art. I forgot the actual title. The world of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, where it sets forth like the 13 plus 1 and 16 parentheses fucking scaling power thing. That everybody's like, well, but there's so many inconsistencies and things don't match up here and there, and it's really hard to rank power structure whenever its skill makes such a vast difference in what you can and can't do and who can beat who in the books. But in the TV show, all you can do is by what you see, and you just showed 2 channelers able to hold off a multitude of simultaneous attacks from half of the sitters in the hall, targeting 1 person, the Amerlin seat, who both then turn around, abandon that endeavor because, well, we showed we could defeat them once, so of course they're not going to try to attack her again. Yeah. Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And then now Alana by herself is like, hey, me and my 2 non-magic guys can take you all out.
Yeah.
And pretty
Even
much
though they were
does.
able
like,
to
they kill Leandrin for the second time.
They're only going to be able to take out my 1 warder.
Yeah. I feel like
it's because Leandrin didn't do the badass link with me, sisters.
Right. I feel like this is a prime example of the sort of storyline disconnect that Brandon Sanderson was alluding to when he talked about with the show they're planning scenes and then writing transitions between those scenes. So what they want is a visually stunning scene, and then they're going to transition to the next visually stunning scene, and
Oh,
that's
so they don't have a
cool.
Maria. They don't have like a continuity
But
manager.
that's the thing. Like the
And that's
continuity suffers in that, and it could be so easily fixed, right? Have Alana, she had to leave the room before the battle began, or I don't know, maybe the Black Aja sisters had to, maybe they got scattered, maybe they had to run out of exit, run out of the room and go through different exits, and now they're scattered through the city, and now Alana is fighting one or two of them. Hey, now we've got something that makes a little bit more sense.
yeah.
I don't know. There's just the
Have
fight.
have the massive explosion be like an almost self-sacrificial play where like
Yeah,
we desperately have to get out of here, and you blow out half of the wall, and
yeah,
half of your people like kind of get blown out into the corridor or something with it. Like
Mhm.
yeah,
show that there's a struggle instead of just immediately going like, "Hey, I just almost died. We hit her in the side with a rock, and now like y'all just healed me in a split second. Back
right.
up. I'm linked. We're good."
And that's one thing I will say. I actually really loved the battlefield healing. I thought that was
Mhm.
great
Yeah.
because it like illustrated perfectly the problem with Aes Sedai fighting Aes Sedai. Because if you don't kill them and make sure they're dead, they can just be healed. And I loved it. I thought that was great. But visually, the fight was great. Continuity, storyline wise, it
Yeah.
And
it did
I
not make a whole
I
lot of
think one
sense.
of the things that, throughout the season, the show kind of falls victim to is trying to kind of like be cinematic and artistic. Like I remember seeing somebody comment about this episode how the alley fight was very Bollywood. And it's like, oh, okay, I can see the nods there. But at the
Yeah,
same time, like that's great, but it took away from the overall episode.
Yeah.
So I don't
Well,
want your nods. I don't want these little things that don't have to do with the Wheel of Time when they just have to do with the industry. And it's like I don't want to be like a victim of the industry
yeah,
when it
yeah.
affects the story. And it's like, I feel like that's a fine line to walk. Like you're gonna have to cater to that a little bit, but sometimes it's like, I don't feel like this one paid off.
yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna move us forward a little bit to the thing I hated the most about this entire episode, and it's fucking Egwene's goddamn fucking attitude.
Ah,
Egwene in this episode with her whole interaction with Suon and getting the accepted test and ringing everything, it encompasses everything about Egwene that made me unable to stand her for the first 2 to 3 books. Rolled into one shitty little fucking overly arrogant asshole package.
right.
Like I fucking couldn't stand it. Like because just last season she looked at Suon like somebody just begging for mommy's acceptance. And in this one she's like, "I'll come back to the tower on one condition, most powerful woman in the world. You will let me take the accepted test." And then like they play Suon like Suon isn't dumb, but they make her play as an absolute fucking moron because she
Yeah.
just said, "Egwene, you can't go off and do whatever you want. You don't even have a ring, and only Accepted can go out and do whatever we want." And Egwene's like, "Fine, I'll come back, but you got to let me fucking take the test to be accepted."
Yeah. The
And
It's
I'm like, and then like it is it's book accurate for Egwene's attitude spanned out, but it's not book accurate for how Egwene ever conducts herself with respect to the White Tower.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Ever.
like she's almost taking out her frustration at the Shanshan
Yeah.
on the White Tower. And it's like, well, I
Which
feel
again,
like Egwene's too like logical for that.
and I
Like, yes,
blame
she has some issues, but not that.
and I blame most of it on the fact that for the entirety of season 1, season 2, and season 3, for whatever godforsaken reason I cannot wrap my head around in any way, shape, or form, the team refused to let go of the Rand and Egwene relationship.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
And I'm like, what? Like, there was barely a relationship in the books. You had a little bit of it show in book 1, just enough for Rand to have concern for her, to do a little bit of, okay, you can look back and see how she was healed, and a little of allusion to to Rand being able to channel, but otherwise there was nothing to it. And now like they're so entwined around each other, and it throws off so many other fucking things they could have done and allowed to happen, and they just fucking didn't and couldn't, because you just make Rand and Aguain still be the same. Like they had all the reason in the world to no longer be a thing in season 1. They had the perfect end all fight, be done. You made your decision to be a wisdom without talking to me, without even wanting to engage with me. You avoided me for it. Fucking, like, I get it. That's fine. But because you don't want to, like, be an adult and talk to me, you can fucking do whatever. We're done.
Yeah.
And you could have left it alone. But no, you've made them have, like, one of the most toxic hetero relationships in the entire series thus far.
The piece of this storyline that I hate is Nynaeve goes through the rings and comes out with extreme PTSD, right? Can't sleep, can't eat, misses her daughter. Like she's shooketh to the max. Aguain goes in, comes out covered in blood, tears. They wash her and they say, "Oh, you're welcome. You're an initiate of the tower." And she gets the ring and she goes, "All right, peace out." And then like walks out. And I'm like, so there was no emotional investment for Aguain at all. None.
Mm.
Like you guys, you're not scaling people, and don't give me this, well, Aguain is so much stronger than 90. No, she is not.
No, she had no emotional reaction to realities in which she had to be the one to put Rand down. But she spends the entire rest of this season fucking stuck up his asshole, but not enough to do anything with him. Which I get. She's got her trauma that she's trying to work through, and that's totally justified and fair. But like, even with their like supposed to be close relationship, it's like forever before they actually even talk about it. And it's just so fucking annoying. And I'm like, had this been the way Aguain, and they did kind of, and I remember talking with a couple people, and I caught a little bit of flack for it, for calling Aguain out in season 1 for getting on Rand's case whenever he finally looks at her and is like, and tells her why he's so upset with her about the decision she made. And everybody's like, yeah, that's just Rand being an asshole because she made a decision for himself. And I'm like, no, he's pissed at her because they were already together. And she made she made a decision that would make them completely unable to be together, and then actively avoided him and refused to talk to him about any of it. And whenever he did try to talk to her, she was like, "I've already made my decision. I've already made my decision."
This isn't the books where it was just like an idea. This was already a full-fledged relationship. They were already together. They were just waiting for the braid to make it official. And then the braid comes, and all of a sudden, the wind has told me differently.
So Rand was completely blindsided. He's like, "We're great. We're going to get married." And like, meanwhile, Egwene's like, I don't want to talk to him because I decided I'm just going to be a wisdom, and now I can't marry anybody, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, and everybody seemed to just give that a pass. Like, yeah, no, Rand, you're an asshole for expecting her to talk to you about decisions that affect both of you. And I'm like, there's no way that any of you that think that way are in a completely not toxic, stable relationship if that's how it goes.
What do you say to your friends who are in that kind of a relationship?
Fucking leave. Red flag. Big red flag. The red flag has red flashing lights on it. Fucking run away.
Yep.
You don't make life-altering decisions that affect you and your partner's life without at least allowing your partner to voice their opinion on it. Yeah. Which she absolutely refused to hear. Mm-hmm. And then fast forward all the way to like episode like 5 or 6, and then Rand's like fucking making out with Lanfear, and she's like, "Oh,
I'm so upset.
You dare betray my trust." And I'm like, "Go, yeah, like it's fucked up still, but also like you're not really one to fucking talk."
We're gonna turn Rand into Ross. We were on a break.
Yeah. No, we just gotta take every season and have Rand do the least possible, but just enough to make him look like a fucking like womanizing piece of shit.
Yeah.
yeah. Don't fucking do that, please. Oh,
Reese, what was the thing that you
so it's funny because it was one of my favorite and one of my least favorite things in the episode, and that was the not bubbles of evil. I love
the bubbles of Lanfear.
I loved seeing them portrayed on screen. It was so cool. I didn't like how they came about. Although I did think it gave some cool like Teleron Riyadh like connections. However, the biggest problem I had with it was that it completely brainwashed Matt into ignoring Nynaeve being attacked. Because this is just so unlike the Wheel of Time Matt, who would have been pulled out of pretty much anything when one of his friends was being attacked. It just seemed so like out of context where it's like that's the Taviran nature that would just not allow that to happen. And I feel like, I'm sorry, I don't think that Forsaken trumps Taviran, and I don't think you could have distracted Matt from Nynaeve being attacked. I just don't think it could happen. I mean,
Nynaeve screaming for her life, Matt going, the cards are moving.
Nynaeve screaming for her life, and Lan being like, and Moraine being like,
no. Just let it. Yeah, there are so many problems with that it was like,
what?
What is happening? What is this?
And then they tried to be like, oh, there was accidentally a gray man involved. Stop. It just.
And even Lanfear being like a gray man and scared. I'm like, bull.
Like what?
No.
Yeah, no, that scene was.
Love the visuals. Well. Hated the rationale behind it.
It softly hit.
I believe that's the majority of my criticisms with the show. Right, the visuals are great, but the consistency in the storyline just isn't there.
All right, let's try to move forward, I guess, a little bit. Episode 2, we might want having to do a part 2 on this one too. If we don't get canceled before then. Actually, no, we'll record the second part before this one ever goes live.
We're going to do that tonight.
Yeah. All right, episode 2, A Question of Crimson. This is the one where we start with seeing Morgase Strakan win the Succession War, say, hey, I forgive you all of your crimes and transgressions during the war if you swear fealty. They all swear fealty, and then she's like, I need you all to understand we can't have another war like this, and because of that... And has them all killed, which I know Josh absolutely loves.
It's a good
love it so much.
Yeah.
I
we
loved
get to
watching
see...
Game of Thrones. I mean, the Wheel of Time.
We get to meet Lord Jabril, Morgase's consort, as they all show up in Tar Valon. Morgase is pissed because Elaine was kidnapped and went missing. And they have their whole little verbal showdown in the hall of the tower, which is an interesting thing. But whatever. Aguain winds up having another nightmare, which we know is her dreams being invaded by Lanfear. But then she winds up having a dream of Bair, one of the wise ones, the Aiel wise ones, as they're on their way to the waste. Meanwhile, in the Two Rivers, Parin, Loyal, Bane, and Chiad learn that the land is plagued by Trollocs. They meet Lord Luke and Fael for the first time. And, of course, Alana and Maxim are there, mourning Ivan's death, having sought refuge in the village with the shitty bread maker. Min is being Suon's spy at the tower.
It's such a good job. Bro. Nobody suspects a thing.
I mean, look, I don't think that's not episode 2 when he says it. I think it's 3 or 4. But like one of the top 5 shittiest reasons to say you're not interested in somebody. Like, I don't want to fuck him because his bread is shit. Like, bro.
Yeah.
Like, stand for something or fall for anything. Okay.
I'm so over Maxim's dialogue in the majority of this entire fucking season,
dude. The dialogue is bad.
Every one of his lines didn't need to be how much he didn't want to fuck somebody or be involved with somebody, or like kind of thought maybe he did, but then ultimately decided he didn't because nobody is Ivan, which I get. Show the grief, deal with the grief.
Right.
But whenever it's every line or every other line or every third line, you ultimately cheapen the effect whenever they do finally try to move forward.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Alana does something and she's like, I thought you liked that. And he's like, I only liked it when he did it. Like that line to me would have hit so much harder.
Yeah.
If I hadn't just sat through 4 other episodes of Maxim going, well, I did want to fuck him, but not anymore because have you tasted his bread? His bread is
cute,
shit.
But, you know. I don't know.
he can't bake worth the shit, so I don't want to
Like,
fuck him anymore. And I'm
cheapened
like,
it a little bit. Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah,
like,
a
and then
lot
there
of
was
it.
like, hey, we're so pressed for time in the show, but we're gonna sacrifice 5 minutes to what amounts to a faked out fight.
Yeah.
That's different episodes. Anyway, sorry.
I
Uh,
no, there we are moving. I want to hit on the dialogue really quick because there is a scene that immediately took me out, and it was when Maxim was training the Two Rivers folks, right? And he's like, the cool thing about a poison spear, and I'm like, okay, cool, poison spear. That's not how poison works, but it's a fantasy show, so we can do that. You can just scratch them and then they die, and
we need
this is
only
cool.
touch him
Fine.
anywhere, and he'll be poisoned.
And he'll be dead forever. But then what happens is this like exchange that
Never.
I lost it. I was taken out like that because Senbui comes up and is like, hold the bloody line, hold the bloody line. You give me a Two Rivers longbow and I'll hold the bloody line all night. Okay, who talks like that? Nobody does. And then Maxim goes, okay, get your Two Rivers bows out then. We're all
But then
going to
never sees
die.
it. But then never
It's like-
fucking sees him before the fight.
Yeah, but and
Makes
this
no
is what-
fucking go.
you
Get
had-
it. We'll train with it, and you can show me how effective it is. But then does it? Gives
You
up on
had-
their entire planned and trained defensive strategy because Senbui made a fucking snarky remark.
a dumb.
What
snarky
a
remark.
died.
fucking battle commander. One dude mouthed off to you, and you said, "Fuck it, get your longbows. We'll abandon everything I taught you."
Your bread
what he
sucks.
could
Your
say-
bows suck. Get 'em.
I don't want
And
to
what
fuck him because his bread sucks. Fuck you because your spear sucks. Fuck this whole place. I don't care.
And what we could have had was Maxim going, look, I know you're good with a longbow, but what happens when the Trollocs get into point blank range? What happens when they get into hand-to-hand range? You need a spear. Let's train with the spear.
my thatch
You can use the longbow at long range, but when they get in close, I need you to know how to thrust with a spear. Wow, hey, now we have a battle plan. Now we have the people invested in something. But instead, what we got was, give me a Two Rivers bow and I'll hold the line all night. Or hold the line, hold the bloody line, you hold the bloody line.
You know what else we could have had?
Your mom hold the bloody line. Like
we could have had Tam Althor being like,
what?
"Hey, Warder, I know you know about this,
Who's
but
that?
you know these older men
wait.
aren't made for spears. How about we show you these Two Rivers longbows?" And then Abel Cawthon could walk in and say, "Hey, yeah, let me show you these archers that win every single battle
Or-
time."
Abel Cawthon.
Reese, are you suggesting that the Two Rivers
Where are
make
my gloves?
use of the guy with military experience that made it to the highest rank you possibly can as a non-native born Illianer in the battle of before the Battle of Blood Snow?
Yeah.
I would never suggest.
What a wild concept.
No, it
You know we cannot afford the retainer for that actor to stay on retainer just for one episode.
look,
Fucking stupid.
and I'm sorry, and I know people were like, "Oh, he wasn't available for filming." Okay, that's
I'm sorry. You
to
filmed
the
for how long
industry.
and how far in advance could you schedule?
I,
That sounds like a lack of time management skills, not like a
I'm a-
lack of availability.
I'm a
Yes, this
program
sounds like a
manager, like-
management problem.
what it means is you guys didn't do this right. Like
You mean
you
to tell me
can't tell
Amazon
me-
can coordinate worldwide shipping and send rockets into fucking space, but can't coordinate filming at a time where the actor they want is
they
available?
can't fly a dude into Prague for a weekend?
I gotta.
Bruh, I'm flying into Prague for a week later this year. Surprise, everybody.
I gotta
I'm
pull.
probably
this
going to
up
edit
here.
that out, actually,
Okay,
because I
I'm
wasn't going
gonna
to tell
do-
anybody that yet. Whoops. See, I'm so worked up. I'm fucking revealing shit that I wasn't going to reveal yet.
Well, that's why you got to be a Patreon to get
Patrons that are
all
listening
of the
live,
goodness.
congratulations. I'm going to MalkyriCon. Nobody else will know that until they see me there or closer to it.
Woo! All right,
I
what
will-
were you gonna say, Reese?
I was gonna say, I think it's ridiculous that in a few episodes we've recast key characters that couldn't be there But didn't recast other key characters that couldn't be there.
It's almost as if they wanted a particular. No, we're not going to go there.
You know what happens if you call if like you have a job and they're like, hey, you're supposed to be here on Friday, like we need you here on Friday, and you're like, I'm not available for Friday. They're gonna fucking recast your job. All right, gonna known as like, okay, we're no longer in need of your services, and they're gonna hire somebody else. Like I get it, like you have other commitments, but also just like anybody else with any other job, sometimes you have to decide between which job you want more. And which would you rather have? The bullshit argument that we got for why we're using the Two Rivers longbow, which wound up cheapening keeping the Two Rivers longbow as a thing, even in the show, or keep fucking Tam Thor and all of his badassery being like, hey, Warder, I know you're trained a lot in like small group combat. I was a legitimate literal battle commander for an entire fucking battalion or whatever of the Illianer army, the highest rank you could get as a foreigner to Ilion. Yeah. Maybe let me help coordinate the defense of my fucking home.
Yeah, because Tam really just said, oh, is Emmons Field under attack? Dang, that sucks.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Marshadi nailed it here. I can't possibly understand. I didn't realize.
So hard to recast a middle-aged, scruffy-looking white man in your...
Yeah, they've got such a unique look about them.
So
where are we going to find another one of those in Europe?
No, there's no possible way.
Let's see. What's
There's
Michael
only
McCatton?
one.
Well, it's because the last time we saw him, he told Rand to go off and trust Moraine. And then we're like, yeah, that's it. We can't see him on screen ever again.
He's like, I can't show my face.
Meanwhile, if you blink too fast, you might mistake the visage of Tom for Tam.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
Look, it's just the other thing is Tam and Abel were such a big part of the battle in Emmons Field, and the battle as a whole was cheapened, in my opinion, for omitting everybody but the jerk. Like, every dude who meant something to the Two Rivers was just edited. There was no Tam, there was no Abel, there was no Bran. We didn't have Master Luhan. We didn't have any of the men in the Two Rivers that meant a damn contributing anything. What we had was Senbui arguing with a warder, because Senbui knows everything. To quote Capacidi, go thatch a roof, Senbui.
Something I want to know for a series that is priding itself on representation and advancing like just causes and progressing like the betterment of humanity, or it sounds more prolific than it is.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
But we only need a couple of Cawthons, get rid of the rest, burn. But
it was definitely women's circle business. It was definitely that.
For a series that is priding itself on doing some of these things for inclusion and diversity, the Battle of the Two Rivers has a built-in epic moment of female power, where you have just the men of the Two Rivers of Amon's Field, and well, at this point, the entire Two Rivers are fighting the Trollocs. They're getting pushed back. The White Cloaks have abandoned them because the White Cloaks, turns out, they wear white, not because they think they're pure, but because they surrender and run away all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Inspiration from the French, I guess. And just as the battle lines are about to collapse, the women of Amon's Field and the rest of the Two Rivers surge to the battle lines with whatever they can grab and wind up holding the line. And it actually winds up being a bit of the impetus that still steals everybody to fight as hard as they do for the rest of it. An incredible moment.
Yeah.
That shows just how powerful, that reinforces the overarching theme of the entire book series.
Yes.
Of balance, and you have to work together.
Yes.
You need both halves of the whole to make anything truly remarkable happen. Mm-hmm. And it is remarkable in the books that Amon's Field survives, because they are beset on all sides by fist upon fist upon fist, which is hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of Trollocs.
Would you
There
say that
is
they
no
got fisted by
choking,
Trollocs?
bruh. Yeah, they got fisted by a lot of Trollocs.
They were
There was
choking.
no like narrowing them down to a single choke point, which makes no fucking sense because that's not how the topography of Amon's field works at all. It is in the show, but not in the books. But you mean to tell me like Trollocs can't scale the side of a quarry wall?
Some of them
No,
can.
that's a lot of effort.
Bruh, they're like fucking 7-8 foot tall. Superhuman strength, animal features. They can scale a fucking quarry wall that's not even vertical. What are you fucking talking about? But just the whole
Yeah.
battle was completely cheapened. It wasn't as nearly impactful or just as decisive as it should have been. And then even then, given the opportunity to have some sort of like retribution or revenge for Winter Knight's attack
Yeah.
by taking out Pat and Fane,
That.
we get this like, hey, I know you're a dark friend and you serve the shadow and you can't be trusted in the slightest, but if you call off the attack and swear to never come back, I'll take your word for it, not kill you and let you go.
It's the Dragon Ball Z problem. I'll let him go because he's such a good guy. Only to like it.
Except
was
it
so
works in
dumb.
Dragon Ball Z.
It was so dumb.
Well,
It
not
was dumb.
always. I mean, it
No.
didn't work with Frieza. It worked with
No.
Vegeta. Actually, it worked
No.
with Piccolo. It worked with Vegeta.
Anyway,
Well, Piccolo split, but then eventually it worked. But it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, you
One of-
dedicated an entire episode to one of the most epic battles in the entire book series.
and then deflated. It just deflated. Look, I want to go into one thing that I know I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for because I hated some of the costuming in this season. Hated. Absolutely hated. Morgaze.
Oh,
Like,
be
I
careful
hated
walking
Morgaze.
around at WatCon.
Morgaze was so like, okay, so like I again, I like fantasy. Like Lord Gabriel, his clothing was outlandish and over the top, but it was still clothing. It still fit. It still worked. And I know, don't get me wrong, I know that the clothing is based on historical yada yada yadas, and people did wear shit like that. Great, cool, but
The movie
I'm thinking,
Paranormal Activity was based on real events.
right, exactly. But I'm looking at it going, you can't move in that. You can't be a queen in that. You can't do anything in that. And maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point. But it was so over the top. It hurt
See,
my brain.
Yeah.
I was like,
Josh,
what are we
what you
doing
don't
with
understand about being a queen is you don't actually need to move or do anything. You're the queen. You tell other people to
I
do things
guess
for you.
so.
She
Once
wasn't
you've made-
moving herself. There were people inside of her dress moving her for her.
Her entire dress was a weapon. She could just fall forward.
The,
She's gonna
Bro,
allow
Wolf Brother.
that shit and be like
bruh.
Venus flytrap outfit. I don't know.
Instead
and
of
I also-
killing her competition, she's like, "Come, give me a hug."
I get that it's a fantasy show.
I forgive you
I
of your
understand. It's
transgressions during the Succession War. I will
Maybe
digest you slowly over the next 4 weeks.
and maybe
You
she's a
fool.
sarlacc. She's a giant sarlacc. No, maybe it's just that her introduction pissed me off so bad because it did. Executing people in the throne room, like that's not Morgaze. And I don't care if they're trying to do something different with the character. The point is that you're not supposed to do something different with the character. The point is you're supposed to do something different with the storyline to match the source material to the television. And when you have Morgaze being like, "Oh, you guys are great. Thank you. I win. You can swear fealty now." And then they swear fealty, and she's like, "Haha, I don't care that you swear fealty. I'm going to kill you anyway.
Now that you're my loyal subjects, let me show you your reward. Death.
Let me just kill you for conceding
Nothing says
But I didn't-
peaceful reign like fucking murder.
And that's the thing is that at the core of it, they still wanted Andor. Like Andor was the end goal. Like the peace and prosperity of Andor was the whole point, not the Morgate, like the Trakand line. That wasn't
Like
the
they
point.
could have.
Like-
She could have taken out the one that gave like the snarky half-ass like fucking oaths.
Yeah, she was a bitch.
She could have been
Take
like,
her out. Like,
You clearly knew what oaths to swear. You did not swear the correct oaths. That shows me you fully intend to still rebel.
Or I don't
So I
know.
tried to meet you, you didn't meet me, so now you will face execution,
I don't
but
know.
not in
Maybe
like the throne room.
maybe have 3 of them say, "Hey, you won. Good job. We swear fealty." And then one of them being like, "House dumbass will never kneel to you. We defy you, Queen Trakand." And she's like, "Cool." And then the next person can step up. I
The
represent House
irony of
dumbass.
saying "We defy you, Queen
We will
Trakan."
kneel and swear fealty. You got us. Sorry. Like, okay, that's better. But just hi, oh, you guys are so sweet. You swore fealty to me? Die. Like, what? What?
I
It,
mean,
it makes no sense. It makes no
I
sense.
I like it I liked it only in the context of a TV show trying to very quickly show the lengths that a character will go through to defend their kingdom, knowing that they're not going to get much TV time to show it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only caveat I have for it. As
And
far
it's
as
a
like,
weak
does it
cat.
do justice to the story of Morghese? No, not at all. She's
No.
a lot more tactful. She would have had them fucking
She's a lot
assassinated in their
smarter.
homes with no trace back to her in the slightest. Because in the book, she just exiled them, and then any of them that needed to die, fucking died in like, I don't know, weird Final
Yep.
Destination-y farming accidents. I don't know. Like they got their balls stuck in like a plastic chair or something. I don't know. Which is apparently a meme from Final Destination Bloodlines. I don't know. I hadn't seen the movie, but yeah. No, but still, more shoddy, I think, wins best comment. This one fucking killed me. The fucking dino that killed Newman in Jurassic Park. The one that spit the fucking tar in his face.
The Dilophosaurus.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. We're you know what? Screw going episode by episode. We'll still probably do a part 2, but we'll just jump around wherever we want.
We'll go to episode 3 just to give us a starting point.
Well, let's let, because I know I've picked some stuff. Josh, you picked some stuff. Reese, what's something that maybe we haven't talked about yet that stood out to you from season 3 that you were just kind of like, why?
Why?
I don't like.
I mean, I think I have a hard time because I want to make myself like things. You know, I like to enjoy things. So I like to explain away the fun. I don't know. I really disliked the write-off of Loyal. I just thought that it was like this costume is too hard to do. Let's get rid of this character. And that just seemed so like, I don't really see that there's a purpose to this. It just seemed superficial, and I get it production wise, and I feel like story wise, it I get it. You can reassign plot points, whatever, but I feel like Loyal was one of those things that it's like he wasn't really a plot point. He was one of the like soul characters of the Wheel of Time that I felt like kind of kept the story going. And even though he didn't, have like a huge part in the series, I just feel like writing him off is such a big mistake. He was such a big part.
Agreed. I hate that they've now done they've made a decision with specifically to Loyal. They've made a decision where there is no good outcome, right? It's bad no matter what happens. Either he falls to his death forever and ever and ever in the ways and is just gone, and he plays no more part in the story of the Wheel of Time TV show, which is absolutely a mistake. I'm sorry, it just is. But if you want to say, well, he was just the storyteller and we didn't, okay, whatever, fine. That's a creative decision that you can make. But the other decision you can make is we brought him back, everybody. Yay, look, he fell on another ledge and came out of another gateway and then ran to us. Like, that would be so stupid. It would be so
and I
dumb.
know that was my loony theory, but come on. Like it just seems like such a financial decision. Like this is such a we couldn't.
They already brought him back once.
I was just going to say that this is the second time you'll have killed Loyal.
Sorry, my Dr. Pepper kind of exploded.
We're just pretending that didn't happen, and it just
I don't know. I feel like there are so many parts that not just Loyal, but the the Ogier bring to the story. That you gotta bring them in somehow. And how do you do that if Loyal's not here? And it's like it's that balance. They're the tree singers. They're the people that balance the nature, that bring that peace, that like horrifyingly terrifying piece of nature that is like, do the right thing. But now they're not there, and it's like, well, how do you? I'm sure you could figure another way. I'm sure
Turns
you could
out,
figure
like-
another way to do it. But
Yeah.
Turns out Hamid is like still playing an Ogier. He's just gonna play all the Ogier independently.
he's gonna come back next season as Aerith.
I
mean-
was going to marry a man named Loyal.
I have a thing where I fully get and understand, at least as much as I can, adaptations needing to change different aspects of it.
100%.
Of like the books to make it work for a TV show. My thing is, you have to, for every change you make from how the books go, though, you have to have a justifiable rationale for why. What does it more easily convey? What does it update to make the show more like current and get rid of like problematic elements? Some kind of reasonable rationale that makes the change justifiable. I don't see that rationale
Yeah.
with making the only way for Loyal to seal the Waygate to be breaking the Waygate, breaking the walkway.
Yeah.
Every other part of the walkway is suspended in floating air by itself, but not that part
And
magically. And he
that's-
can't just take the Avendasora leaf off of the inside, which the Trollocs and Dark Friends are clearly using.
We've
as their
seen
way to get through.
in deleted scenes.
Yeah.
We saw
Well, because the
Avendasora.
key, the Avendasora key that Pat and Fane has isn't an actual part of the show yet.
Yeah.
So either they have a mysterious way to open it, or they have a channeler with them. Like the thing is, like the rationale for getting rid of Loyal just doesn't seem to sit there. And I tried to do this like in season 1 with the addition or whatever of Parin's wife, Layla.
Layla.
And I was like, Josh, hopefully you can attest to this. I tried to wait until the ending of episode 8 to give my actual judgment on it. And I was like, maybe
We're waiting
it'll
for the
fucking
payoff.
pay off, and it fucking doesn't.
No.
And that's my worry with Loyal. I'm like, and again, I think like in the post-credit scenes where they have Rafe talking to the camera for the bajillionth fucking time that Rafe talks to a camera, he's like, well, we needed Parin to have a sense of loss. And it's like, you mean the guy that fucking killed his wife in like season 1, episode 1 needs to have another sense of loss?
Who had a panic attack mid-battle because it was going
Yeah.
so poorly, and he was losing so many kinsmen.
But his
For
family
his
Just
got
town?
away.
how many people he grew up with.
But his family
in
got away.
Mansfield?
It's okay, but his family got away. They didn't.
away,
They
yeah.
escaped.
But they don't even
managed
make him
to
his
escape.
family, and
They
they
just-
even talk about his family.
Yeah,
in
they
the
did.
fucking...
They said straight up, "Don't worry, your family got away.
Your family.
They're just
The
gone."
people that we have no emotional connection to. Hooray,
No,
they're
I mean-
safe.
But he went back to the orchard to bury the ring from his wife. Like,
You mean the ring that broke in half perfectly?
yeah,
Which means that it had an inherent flaw in the forging of it, which
it's
probably
metaphorical.
means that he forged an inherent flaw in it because he probably forged the ring himself. A little fucked up there. That there was an inherent flaw in his marriage ring.
It honestly, to hear you say that Rafe made the comment that we needed Parin to have a sense of loss. To look,
I didn't even watch it. One of my
that,
coworkers accidentally left the credits playing while doing something at home and watched the post-credit scene where they do a little bit of an interview, and Rafe was like, yeah, we really needed Parin to have a sense of loss. And it's like,
but his family
he's the
escaped.
only one with a fucking sense of loss other than Alana and Maxim. What the fuck are you talking about?
But his family escaped.
It's like
you
you-
couldn't think of anything that would make him have a sense of loss. You couldn't think of anything. You couldn't read the fucking book.
Oh, wait, here it is. He also said we needed a sense of how dangerous the world was. Like, what the fuck, dude? You've killed so many
Right.
people throughout the show. It's season 3. You already know.
Because
Like, yeah, the
Parin
world's
doesn't know how
fucking.
dangerous the world is.
It's like literally in season 1, the first time that Rand and Matt go to an inn where they think they're going to be safe, the fucking woman running the inn tries to kill them because she turns out to be a dark friend.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like you think that nobody remembers season 1 or season 2.
Once again,
And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go with
continuity.
it. On the same vein of having to justify the changes
Well, wait,
of
Reese,
changing.
did you have something
Oh,
else
yeah,
for
sorry.
that? Sorry.
No, that was pretty much it. Go for it.
Oh, okay.
So in the same vein of like, if you make a change from the books for the TV show, like justify the reason for it. I have no problem, and I cannot stress this enough, no problem with Elaine and Avienda being more of a romantic, intimate couple than just really good friends, near sisters. No
Because they
problem with
basically
that.
are married in the books. Let's be like.
I mean, yeah, they all kind of get married, but they also never all have to live together with Rand. They all differently live with him. It's a weird, it's polygamy, but not really. It is, and it's weird. It's like polygamy light. Like you don't have the full subscription to polygamy.
Right. Poly light.
Yeah.
You can cancel
But
it any.
there was no reason to remove Rand getting close to Elaine from the story arc. Rand, so holding on to the Rand and Aguain love interest story arc relationship is the only rationale for why Rand would not be getting close to Elaine. So another decision that has been made for the show is already altering and getting rid of another part of the books. And I for the first time in the entirety of the time I've been around in the fandom, only since this episode came out, have I started hearing people have such an incredible issue with Rand's relationships with the Golden Girls from the books. And all I can remember from my entire experience in the fandom is everybody taking like, yeah, it's not perfect, but at least there's some polyamory representation in the books. Like that's a great thing. Beyond like the green Aja and that kind of stuff. Like this is a good thing. But now in the TV show, you take that away.
Yeah.
But you have Elaine now with Avienda, but you give it the same rationale that would have been given to the Rand and Elaine story.
Right.
Hey, we've been around each other for months. We've grown close over months, so now we're going to kind of be a thing. It's the exact same story arc, just between two different characters. And I'm like, it's not like there wasn't like a whole section of the story where Elaine and Avienda were together all the time and had a chance to build that relationship.
Yeah.
Because
it's
still hinted
like,
at
what's the rationale
between Rand and Elaine? Like there still was some comfort where she was able to give him like state tips, like political, insight. So there is still some type of relationship there. I feel like this, as also falls victim to the not enough time to set up any backstory to really make it work other than if you're a reader. Like there was the line that like I think it was Avienda, she was like, finally. And it was like that was great if you were a book reader.
Yeah,
If
and
you
that's
were
my
watching
thing. Like
the show, it was completely out of place. You had no idea what was happening. There was no build up. There was no like intro. Nothing. It could have
and
been easy.
That's my problem with it.
To be honest, like
yeah, and that's my problem. It's a change and departure from the books, but it's not given any like extra screen time. It's not given any extra like backstory. There's nothing extra given about the Elaine and Avienda love interest that they couldn't have taken and just given to the Elaine and Rand love interest with the exact same storyline. The only difference being the refusal to drop the Rand and Aguain love arc. So it's like a self-imposed issue that prevents you from maintaining a part of the books. That doesn't mean that you can't still do this part of the books. But it's still, like, in the books, it's still a while before Elaine and Avienda are actually this close, before they're really near sisters, kind of lovers thing.
It feels like
it's like, again, I'm absolutely fine with it. I think it makes complete sense. I get them being romantically involved and whatever. doesn't bother me in the slightest, that aspect. Again, I cannot stress that enough. And even still, somebody's going to be like, oh, fucking Andrew just doesn't like it because it's two women.
lesbians on the show.
Yeah, like,
Shut
fuck
up.
off. If that's all you're going to take from it, then one, I'm not talking to you anyway because you're so close-minded. You only hear what you want to hear anyway, and you can go fuck yourself.
I already hashtagged you on TwitX.
Perfect. My thing is, like, again,
Quote, I hate lesbians.
when you say
Andrew,
you have
said
to
it.
change things, and there's things like when you complain and talk to people about how much you agonize over changes in the writing room because it's so hard to pick what to change and what to keep and what to move around and what to do this and there, and then you make changes that don't pay off or that there's not a rationale that warrants you like making it this story other than another. And for people that are like, and this shit happened after like season 1 when I would critique some stuff, people are like, well, you don't know what they're gonna do in season 2 and season 3. Fuck off. If that is your defense, oh, you don't know what they're gonna do in the future.
You got to wait
off.
10 years for the payoff.
That is the
buddy.
shittiest fucking excuse to sit there and say that I'm okay with something they did in the show.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you don't know what they're gonna do in the
wild
future. Yeah, you don't know what I'm gonna do in 5 minutes. That might completely justify what I just fucking said. Fuck off. You are scapegoating and taking the easiest route out of having to be actually accountable for having a thought process behind the words coming out of your fucking mouth, and you piss me off. It is well, I say intellectual loosely. It is the intellectual equivalent of saying I know I am, but what are you?
Yeah.
To say like you don't know what they're gonna do in season 4. Yeah, of course I don't.
And yeah,
That's why I'm
sure
talking
they
about
have
it with
a
season
ton of
3 and
great
everything before.
ideas
Justify
planned.
it for me now.
Yeah. I it's like, I feel like a lot of the changes that can be said where it's like, oh, I can see where they're taking it. And it's like, yes, the optimistic side of me absolutely sees all of these. Sober Reese is completely on board with all of the places the show is going. Drunk Reese, however, is much more, she has more questions. And
I mean, like, I totally get some of the stuff, like, and I think I agree with you. Like, and it's one of the things, like, I want to give the show the most credence I possibly can. And again, for people that have like managed to stomach this episode thus far, or can listen to opposing points of view and not immediately fucking screech, this episode is designed for us to do our belly aching about the stuff we don't like from the show for one reason or another, justifiably, not any of the stupid shit. That's what this episode and probably the next episode is going to be, because we're probably going to have to part 2. We're definitely going to have to part 2 this. Getting rid, like, there definitely is a part of us, and I think we talked about this during part 2 of the stuff we liked about it. We get the Loyal thing. If you have to absolutely choose which characters you're going to cut, and you look at what Loyal's storyline is moving forward after the Battle of the Two Rivers, I kind of get it. Like, if you have to cut characters and you're looking for what characters and events are critical for the story because we have a limited budget, even though we can worldwide ship and
takes like
fly shit
8
into
hours
space.
in makeup and prosthetics, and I get it.
Yeah, like I get it, and it's the same thing with killing off Suwon and that kind of stuff. Like I get it in terms of what they physically do in the rest of the show and how relatively easy comparative to other characters it might be to incorporate what they do into other characters that you're going to introduce later on or characters we've already seen. I get it. You can do it. There are hard choices, and the writing team is making hard choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I know all of us here are in the same way. If it turns out that some part of the currently unexplained reason of nixing the Rand and Elaine relationship and doing the Elaine and Avienda relationship paves the way for something fantastic down the road, I will more than happily say, like, hey, this paid off. I didn't expect that. I'm glad to see it. I take back what I said about it making no sense to make the change. Perfectly happy to do that. Done it before.
Right.
But, I still stand by what I said about Layla because it still hasn't paid off in any way, shape, or form other than an imperfectly forged ring that got burst by an axe and makes me question Parin's abilities as a blacksmith, which makes me worry about the overly ornate set of half-plate armor he forged for himself instead of worrying about making weapons for the rest of his village.
Did he actually make it through that battle, or is he in Teleronria?
I'm pretty sure he's still asleep, healing from his first wound because Fael like fucked him into like
Right.
absolute exhaustion.
In all of this, I think every single critique or complaint I have about the show can be summed up with one word, and that is continuity. And you can even remove the books entirely. Say, give me a character and character profiles, and we're going to just run through the story however the way we want. Okay, cool. Great. But now you've got continuity issues, very serious continuity issues. You've got Parin, who is grieving the loss of his wife in front of his girlfriend, but it's okay because his family got away. Where are they? Away. And you create plot holes and loose ends that take people out of the story. Where's Tam? Okay, fine. You want to use some story or some excuse about, oh, he was busy and couldn't make it, and our schedulers and project managers are
mention
too
the
incompetent
throwaway
to make that happen.
characters. I feel like
Okay,
we've got a lot
cool.
of throwaway characters.
He's off dealing
too.
with Reese
What?
Bolton right now.
Right.
Proclivity for chopping off sausages.
What are you going to do
Now, son, that's no system of
story-wise?
government to be chopping off another man's sausage.
Right. What are you going to do story-wise that says to me, the viewer, there's a perfectly good reason why Tam wasn't there? Instead of doing what they have done consistently in the past, and when we ask the question, they go, "Oh."
And I actually saw, I saw before the episode came out on Twitter, I saw somebody predict how cool it would be if Daisy came out being like some badass channeler who just nobody knew could wield the one power. And they actually did
Yeah, she
it. And I
did.
couldn't believe that they actually, I was like,
like-
holy shit, this is amazing.
For like 4 seconds.
And then she was gone. And I was like, you created this amazing
Yeah.
storyline.
We're
And
gonna talk about that in
immediately
part
cut
two.
it off. Yes.
Oh
That's
yeah, fucking part 2. I get to talk
Yeah.
about my prediction. My
We're going to
prediction
talk
that
about
came
that
true.
in part 2 because I have a problem with the girls channeling. Tune in next week if you want to know why I have a
For part 2
severe
of Black
problem
Tower
with the girls
podcast gets
channeling.
canceled.
Oh.
Look,
Thank you for
guys,
tuning in.
Here's the thing, like at the end, nobody that's listened this far is gonna care that we say this. They're already gonna know this. People that would need to hear this aren't listening this far. They've already made up their minds, and they're mean or angry post, or if they've even done any of that shit, who the fuck cares?
It's me.
God damn it.
We
Reese.
yeah. We still wish the best of success to the TV show. The criticisms and critiques and questions we have, we give as fans. We have a lot of love and respect for the original material from Robert Jordan. And I think that anybody that says that they loved the book series wants to see a reasonable and fair amount of respect in the handling and representation of the book series, but also will try to embody a lot of the spirit of the series in terms of acceptance and adaptation and working together to make better things and greater things happen. And to that end, it can't all be sunshines and rainbows. Anybody that sits here and does nothing but sing praises and think that absolutely everything in the entirety of the TV show is golden and good, I don't think, I could be absolutely wrong, have been before, will be again. I highly doubt, though, that you're being completely genuine and honest. I highly doubt it. There's no way you love absolutely everything about the TV show thus far. If you do, great. I'm just wrong. That's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm just some random dude that fucking talks on the internet and we get like 13 views per video. It doesn't mean shit.
Woo.
Ignore me or make a video response. I don't really care.
Hey, that'd be good.
But
Or leave a meme
absolutely
comment.
rebut this and talk about how we're wrong about everything. That's fine. That'll be great for engagement. You know how many people will come and watch this video after that? Go for it.
7.
Yeah, all 7.
7?
But
Damn.
but
That's a
also
lot.
like there's something to be said about having some grace and tolerance for people that do have issues with it. This was a book series that, hundreds of thousands of people picked up for different reasons, read in different lights, with different backgrounds and stories. that had different interpretations for it. And some of these changes are hard for people to come to grips with from a beloved intellectual property that they grew up reading or read during hard times in their life that spoke to and helped them a lot. They deserve to talk about the stuff they don't like just as much as everybody deserves to talk about the stuff they do like.
Correct.
Fucking give some grace, have some tolerance, practice a little bit of what about what we preach as far as being the statistically best fandom and a much welcoming fandom,
Yeah.
and just let people gripe.
Yeah, there's a difference between being down on everything, a series does, as opposed to having, actual objections as, a fan. And, to reiterate, we're huge fans of the series and we love that it's being made. And part of the objections that we have are because we love it so much. We want to see it done so well. And we fully understand that there are, industry challenges and barriers that keep it from being everything it probably could be. And those are beyond,
Like
control.
Episode 4. Everything it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, look at the ratings for season 3, episode 4, and fucking let go of some of the reins.
Just release some of that control. Just let go of control.
Let
it go.
Your people do what they're good at.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's one of the things. Ultimately, like, we also, Josh is mainly the one that plugs it, and I think he's probably, because it's a social media push, for the most part, he's the one that knows the most about it as far as, at least between he and I are concerned, maybe amongst all three of us. We still are advocating for and pushing for the Renew Wheel of Time campaign.
Mm-hmm.
If we really hated the show that much, you think we would sit here and be like, yeah, give us a season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we're a mainly book focused podcast in the first place, we don't need the TV show to make content. Like, this is the most TV show related content you're going to get from us. Like, TV show or not, we're still going to make like book related content. If we really hated the TV show that much, we wouldn't be sitting there being like, hey, yeah, Renew Wheel of Time. We want a season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Feel free to stop me whenever you want.
No,
we won't.
Keep going.
Yeah.
We're there.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Like, we want it. We want to see it all. And we want to see like spinoffs, and we want it to never end and that kind of stuff. And I want a Wheel of Time TV show that I can bitch and gripe and moan and complain about until the day I die and beyond.
That's right.
And you
join
know
me for the Haunted Wheel of Time podcast after I die, coming in about 5 years.
The other thing is, I want to see the Black Tower.
Oh,
yeah.
I need it. I need to see the Black Tower.
Yeah. I want to see. I want to see two
Aludra.
I want to see two geeks pull out his Black Tower cock. I mean, Black Tower shock.
Buy it again. Awesome. Well, here we go. In the chat, I'm going to put Renew What. That is the hashtag. Go find it on all social medias. You'll find plenty of content creators using their voice to try and ask Amazon for another season. And guess what? We're no different. We want another season.
It'd be rude for us to put that at like the top of the description. Renew What? By the way, here's everything wrong with season 3.
I don't care.
Yeah. Whether or not you like it, there are some great things about this show.
Really
Just
are. We have
Life is amazing.
2 whole episodes talking about the things we love.
Heck yeah, we do.
So,
and we're gonna do 6 on all the things we don't.
That's right.
Thank you for being here. It's like our fucking accidental 9-part series on Elaine. Woo! That was.
You said I wasn't there for most of it.
Go.
Oh shit. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for slurping up that hot sticky taint. We at the Blacktop Podcast love slinging taint.
It's true.
I am your taint slinger, Josh.
And I am your gloves off Mahale, Reese.
And I'm your make sure we say enough platitudes so that you think that all the stuff we said we don't like doesn't actually mean anything, Mahale. Andrew,
Mm.
because it
It
covers our
does.
ass.
Yeah.
Thank you all again for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, heard, whatever, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, leave a review if you're listening to this or whatever the case is. Do all the things. It really helps us out. We really appreciate it if you've somehow made it all the way to the end here. We love you. We thank you again, and we'll see you again next week when we talk about more stuff we didn't like about season 3. So get excited for that.
You've been waiting for this moment, for this feeling to grow.